Let's look ahead to the first game that will be played at the Wankhede Stadium in this World Cup. It's the defending champions, England, who will be taking on South Africa. Both teams will be coming into this game with their ego, their pride bruised. They've been shocked by two teams who were not fancied, who were not expected to beat them. England beaten by Afghanistan and the Netherlands beat South Africa. So both teams will be putting on quite a show. Once again, a small ground DK. Great pitch to bat on, as always at the Wankhede. England, South Africa, who starts favourites for you?
Wow. More than England, South Africa, I think the team that chases has the biggest advantage in Bombay.
The team that wins the toss.
Yeah, I think so, because there's plenty of dew right now. The change in the drop-in weather from afternoon to evening is quite significant, so there will be dew.
Yes, well, from an England point of view, Joe Root has been rather consistent. David Malan has got runs as well, but the big news is Ben Stokes will be available. How do you fit that man in, and changes that you would recommend, Joy, for this Wankhede pitch?
See, I think the way they're looking at it, there's only one place he can go, because the way they look at their order, he either comes in for David Malan, who's got runs, and Harry Brook.
Harry Brook is among the runs as well.
Yeah, but you have no other option, because the way they play their team, they like to have that number of all-rounders that play. So Wokes and Curran play for them. For me, my problem is I think Curran is really out of form, which is one of their big problems, because they expect him to bowl up front and at the death, and he's just been terrible. They're not been able to allow him to complete his quota.
Yep.
And they must be wondering whether Moeen Ali should come back or not. But Moeen Ali, this is not the ground in which you bring back Moeen Ali. This is the ground where you play your seamers.
So England are in the same position that Australia were before that spin against Pakistan. Do they look at dropping Chris Wokes and bring in someone like a Gus Atkinson who bowls really quick, can clock 140?
I think so. They will definitely make a change, or maybe two, in the bowling department, because they have been going for a lot more than they should. So there will be a couple of changes.
Yes, from South Africa's point of view, de Kock started the World Cup on a flying note with a couple of hundreds. But the problem with South Africa, Joy, is that the bowling has a few questions to answer. They struggle to get Netherlands out on this pitch, where you know England will really come hard at them. It's a long batting lineup. How do they resolve their bowling issues?
Look, they are playing their best bowlers. At this point in time, I don't think that there's any really good bowler. Again, under these conditions, you wouldn't play the second spinner. You can't play Shamsi under these conditions. Though I don't actually mind Shamsi, but I think they'll go in for more fast bowlers than anything else. So they tend to, when they play one spinner, they tend to play only Keshav Maharaj. He's their favoured spinner up front. I like Shamsi, but I don't see him playing tomorrow. I don't see any changes in the lineup, because Jansen is vital to them. They have a decent bowling attack. It just hasn't come good for them in the last couple of matches. I think they'll trust them and say that, let's go back to business as usual.
Would they look at Lizard Williams, DK?
No, definitely not Lizard Williams. He doesn't have any experience. They just have him in the squad. I'd be very surprised if they play him. But I think it'll be a toss-up between Jaral Coetzee and Tabraiz Shamsi. That's the only choice they have. And it could be one of them. And you will slightly tilt in favour of what Joyda said, simply because of the dew that's prevailing. So you might go the fast bowler way. But their bowling hasn't been great for sure.
Which team is hurting more? Both have come off shocking losses. Or not upsets, as Harsha Bhugle says, contra results.
Contra results. I love this contra results. But no, I think both of them are hurting in many ways. I think England are champions. I mean, you have to look at it from that way. We were talking about the South Africans being a dangerous team, but South Africa really came into our consciousness when they smashed Australia. They totally smashed Australia. That's when they came to the party. But they are that kind of team. Which South Africa will wake up today, you don't know, Is it the South Africa who lost to Netherlands, or is it the South Africa who made Australia look very, very, very ordinary? And that's my point. They're a Quicksilver team. When they're on, they look really good. So if this, for me, also is one of those clashes which will define the semi-final spot.
South Africa will be happy that this shocker came in the first half of the tournament and not closer to the semi-finals. They have the ability and the resources to recover, because remember, no prima donnas. All of them are good players. There's not one superstar, which was the case with South African teams of the past.
South Africa don't want to hear the word shock too much in World Cup. I think they've dealt with it enough. They have come in with a lot of vigour. They played brilliantly in the first couple of games. And as you said, that's the right word to use against Netherlands. But what was very, very obvious watching that match from close quarters was that bowling is lacking a bit of firepower. Yes, you have Rabada who looks good and Maharaj who looks good, but the others look very, very ordinary. Lungi and Gidi bowl very ordinarily. I think Gerald Coetzee has a long way to go, so there are a few worries there, and that could be easily exposed by England and their firepower batting. But on the other side, England have looked very ordinary with the ball as well, so they will make a couple of changes. Sam Curran, Oakes have been very, very ordinary by the good standards that they've set over a period of time.
And so if both batting sides cancel each other out, the team that bowls better might end up winning this game. One thing's for sure, the Wankhede Stadium will be buzzing. It's only a 40,000 stadium, and I expect it to be a full house to cheer the defending champions and everyone's forever favourites, South Africa. The records suggest that in the last 5 ODIs at the Wankhede, the team that has batted second has won 4 out of 5. Is there a toss coach available somewhere, DK?
Look, I think it's a very tricky one for South Africa, because when they bat first, they score huge and they've won the last 4 out of the 5 games when they've batted first. Yeah. The first time that they bowled first, which was the last game, they've lost miserably. And there was dew in Dharamshala as well. The problem is the batters didn't long enough to be there when the dew was there. So that is a big worry for them. I wouldn't be surprised if South Africa win the toss and bat first.
No, I totally agree, because it's very interesting. You're saying this. Simon said exactly the same thing. When Afghanistan fielded first against New Zealand, the first thing he asked Jonathan Troughton, he was interviewing him and he said that, why did you choose to bowl first? He says, well, the dew might come on. So he said, are you going to play your team's strength, or are you going to play the ground? What are you going to play first? And you're absolutely right. If you look at the South African team, this is a bat first team.